Welcome to Telumen Insights, where we reveal the hidden forces that shape the way you live and show you how to use them to create real transformation and supercharge your health, mindset, and daily life. Here are your hosts, Emma Greenwood and Nathan Sinclair.
Welcome back to Teolumen Insights. You know the show, where we dive deep into the topics that really make you think. I'm Nathan Sinclair.
And I'm Emma Greenwood. Today, we're really diving deep into something that's fascinated people for centuries, the human biofield.
Okay, biofield. It sounds a bit out there, right? But we're going way beyond just the mystical stuff here. We're going to break it all down, what it actually is, what science is saying about it these days, and how it could be the key to understanding ourselves even better.
Think about it this way. We all know about our physical bodies, yeah? But what if I told you we're also surrounded by this, subtle energy field, kind of like an energetic blueprint, that interacts with everything around us? That's your biofield.
So not some mystical force, more like an actual energy field. What's the science behind this?
Well, for centuries, this idea, it was described in a bunch of different ways. We had all these terms, odic energy, animal magnetism, even orgone, all trying to get at this invisible force, The really interesting thing is that modern science is catching up now, using terms like torsion plasma field, which is basically a field of subtle energy that's within and around your physical body.
Torsion plasma field. Okay, still sounds kind of out there. I'm open to it, though. But if we could actually see this biofield, what would it even look like?
Imagine this luminous sphere of energy, right? And it's constantly interacting with everything around you. Kind of like, okay, I know this sounds strange, but like a force field from Star Wars. But instead of, deflecting lasers, it's influencing our moods, our health, even how we interact with each other.
Okay, now that's something I can visualize. I've heard about Kirlian photography, capturing this energy field around stuff. Is that what we're talking about?
Exactly. Kirlian photography, it captures what's called the electrical coronal discharge, which is like an energy fingerprint. Everything has it. And here's the wild part. The photos, they actually change based on your emotions, your health, even your thoughts.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying our emotions are actually reflected in this biofield?
Mm-hmm.
And we can see that visually? That's insane.
It is pretty wild, and that's where chakras come in. Those swirling energy centers, often shown along the spine? Well, each chakra is supposed to match up with certain parts of our physical and emotional well-being.
I'll be honest, I've never fully grasped the whole chakra thing. It always seemed kind of esoteric, Are you saying they're an actual part of this biofield?
That is definitely something researchers are still trying to figure out. But what we do know is that these energy centers, the way ancient traditions describe them, they often line up with areas in the body that have a ton of nerves and energy pathways.
Okay, so our emotions, they impact this biofield. We can kind of see it, and it connects to chakras. But how does any of this affect us day to day? Does what's going on in this invisible field actually have a real physical effect on us?
You've hit on something really important there. It's not just some abstract concept, what's happening in your biofield. It can absolutely show up in your physical body.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Tell me more.
Okay, think about unresolved emotional stuff, especially trauma. These experiences, they can create blockages or disruptions in the biofield, and over time, those energetic imbalances, they can actually manifest as physical problems.
You mean those suppressed emotions? They don't just vanish. They can leave some kind of energetic mark on us and maybe even lead to illness.
That's the idea. Picture it like this. You drop a pebble in a pond, right? That initial splash, that's the emotional event. But even when the splash is gone, it still makes those ripples that spread out. Well, those ripples, in this case, they're the energetic disruptions in the biofield, and they can keep affecting us way after that initial event.
Wow, that really makes you think about the mind-body connection in a whole new way. Is there actual scientific proof to back up this link between our biofield and our physical health?
Absolutely. There are studies using things like biofield imaging, and they've shown these correlations between someone's emotional state, their biofield patterns, and even how certain diseases progress.
Wow, so this isn't just anecdotal. Scientists are finding ways to measure these connections. It's like we're on the edge of understanding the human body and mind in a much more holistic way. This whole idea of blockages in the biofield causing illness, it makes you wonder if it can reflect illness. Can the biofield also be used for healing?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the answer seems to be a big yes. There are tons of practices, many with roots in ancient traditions, that focus on balancing and harmonizing the biofield to help the body heal.
I've heard things like acupuncture described as balancing energy flow. Is that connected to this?
Totally. Acupuncture and stuff like Reiki, Therapeutic Touch, they all work with the body's subtle energy, which is kind of another way of thinking about the biofield, right? By like clearing out those blockages and getting that energy field back in balance, these methods help the body heal itself better.
So instead of just going after symptoms, these practices are trying to deal with the root cause on an energetic level. That's fascinating.
And get this, there's actual science that says these practices really work. Like some studies show that energy healers can actually change what's happening in cells just in a petri dish using nothing but their energy.
Whoa, are you serious? They can affect cells in a lab just from their biofield.
That's what the research is pointing to. It means there's this very real, measurable energy going from the healer to the person being healed. This biofield energy, it's like it can really influence how we feel in these profound ways.
That is mind-blowing. So it's like we're rediscovering this ancient wisdom and backing it up with modern science. This energy field around us, it's almost like this invisible bridge between what's going on inside us and the outside world.
And that bridge, it might go even further than we think. Let's talk about telepathy.
Okay, telepathy. This is where my brain starts to short circuit a little bit.
I get it, it's a lot to wrap your head around, but there's actually more proof than you'd think that some kind of communication happens beyond our five senses. And the biofield, the way it's tied to our consciousness and energy, that could be how this impossible thing actually works.
All right, you got me curious. Explain it to me. How could our biofields even play a role in telepathy?
Okay, so our brains make electricity, right? Those electrical signals, they make electromagnetic fields, which are basically part of our biofield. Now imagine two people, their brain waves are totally in sync, their electromagnetic fields are vibing with each other.
So you're saying our thoughts, our emotions, since they show up as these energy patterns in our biofields, those could be sent to someone else.
Exactly. And there's this thing called brainwave entrainment. Research on this shows that when two people are super connected, their brain waves can actually sync up. That suggests there's information transfer going on beyond our normal senses.
Two minds, two biofields, linking up and sharing information. It's like Wi-Fi, but for thoughts and feelings.
That's putting it simply, but yeah, you're getting it. And it goes deeper, too. Some researchers think the heart, with its own strong electromagnetic field, could play a part in telepathy, too.
The heart. I always thought telepathy was all about the mind.
It's probably more accurate to say it's about the heart and mind together. You see, the heart's electromagnetic field is way stronger than the brain's, and it's been linked to our intuition.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. So there's potentially this whole network of energy and information being exchanged between people all the time, and we're mostly unaware of it.
It's a wild concept, but the signs are there. And this is just the beginning. We're barely scratching the surface of what the biofield is and what it can do.
Makes you wonder what other impossible stuff we might be able to do as we understand this subtle energy better. What else is out there that we haven't even thought of yet?
One thing people experience a lot that might be linked to biofields is that feeling of being stared at. Have you ever, felt someone watching you and you turn around and bam, they are?
All the time. I always figured it was just coincidence, but are you saying it could be more than that?
They've done tons of studies on that staring effect, and the results always show it's not random chance. Seems like our biofields might pick up on other people's focus, even from far away.
So when someone's paying close attention to us, it creates this energy link, and our biofield senses it.
That's the idea, and it might work both ways, too. Research shows people can actually unconsciously affect how others react physically just by staring at them.
So our biofields are like constantly scanning everything, picking up on these little energy cues from everyone around us, even if we don't realize it.
Exactly. And this sensitivity, it might be even stronger in people who are highly sensitive or introverted. They seem to be more tuned into these subtle energy shifts and often say they have more intuitive experiences.
It's like having an extra sense, a sixth sense, that lets us pick up on stuff beyond our normal five senses.
Right. And this sixth sense, this biofield sensitivity, it could be the basis for all kinds of intuitive things. Telepathy, clairvoyance, even precognition.
Hold on, precognition, as in knowing the future. Now we're getting into some serious science fiction territory.
I know it sounds crazy, but there's more and more research looking into precognition, and the findings are hard to dismiss.
Okay, now you've got me really intrigued. What kind of research are we talking about here?
One of the most convincing areas they're studying is how people react physically to events in the future. Researchers have found that our bodies can actually react to emotionally charged pictures before we even see them.
Wait, Their bodies are reacting to something that hasn't happened yet? How's that even possible?
It's like our subconscious minds are somehow plugged into a timeline that isn't linear, a place where the past, present, and future are all happening at the same time. Maybe our bodies, through the biofield, are responding to info before our conscious minds can catch up.
That's wild. It's like our biofields are time travelers, bringing back intel from the future.
And there's more. Studies show that people can even have precognitive dreams, where they dream about stuff that actually happens later.
I've definitely had dreams that seemed like weirdly prophetic. Are you saying those dreams could be our biofields tapping into the future?
It's a possibility. Dreams often come from our subconscious, which might not be limited by linear time the same way. Maybe when we sleep, our biofields are free to explore these nonlinear timelines, and they bring back glimpses of what's to come.
That makes me want to pay a lot more attention to my dreams. Is there anything we can actually DO to tap into these biofield abilities like precognition or telepathy on purpose?
Well, there are a lot of practices that can help us get more in tune with our biofields and boost our intuition. Meditation is a great place to start.
Meditation? I always thought that was more for relaxing and de-stressing. How could that help with something like telepathy?
Meditation, it kind of quiets down all the noise from our conscious mind so we can get to these deeper levels of awareness. And when that happens, it's easier to tune in to the subtle energies of the biofield, maybe even sense stuff that's normally hidden from us.
So it's about shifting our focus from our logical, linear minds to a state that's more intuitive and nonlinear.
Exactly. And there are other practices that can help too, things like energy healing, spending time out in nature, even certain breathing exercises.
So like we all have this incredible potential within us, this ability to experience the world in ways we never imagined, but somehow we were taught to ignore all of that.
That's true. Our culture is really focused on logic and reason, more than intuition. But the more we discover about the biofield, the more it seems like these paranormal things might be totally normal, just a natural part of being human.
It's like we're rediscovering our own superpowers.
And the coolest part is, these superpowers aren't just for a lucky few. We all have them inside us. It's just a matter of being open to the possibility and trying out things that can unlock them.
This has been an incredible deep dive so far. I feel like I'm seeing the world in a whole new way. A world where energy and consciousness are all connected, where telepathy and precognition maybe aren't so crazy after all.
It's a total paradigm shift. And it's a shift that can change how we see ourselves, how we connect with each other, even our place in the universe.
It really makes you think about what other secrets the biofield might be hiding, what other possibilities are out there waiting for us to discover them. But before we get too lost down that rabbit hole, let's come back to reality for a minute. We've talked a lot about the theory of the biofield, but what about using it practically? Are there ways we can apply this knowledge to make our lives better?
For sure. The biofield isn't just some theory. It has real effects on our health, our relationships, even our personal growth.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, we've already mentioned how energy healing, like acupuncture and Reiki, can use the biofield to help us heal. But it goes way beyond that. There are more and more biofield therapies popping up that use different techniques to balance and harmonize the biofield so we feel better overall.
Biofield therapies? That sounds pretty interesting. What kind of techniques are we talking about?
Oh, there are tons of approaches, from actually hands-on healing to sound therapy to light therapy. They all work with the biofield to clear out blockages, release old emotional trauma, and basically help us thrive.
So they're not just masking the symptoms, they're getting to the root of those energetic imbalances that could be causing the problems in the first place.
Exactly. And the really cool thing is, these biofield therapies are becoming more mainstream. Hospitals and medical centers are even starting to include them as part of their integrative medicine programs.
Wow, it's like we're finally starting to understand that it's important to treat the whole healed person, mind, body, entity, spirit, not just focus on the physical stuff. That's huge.
It really is. And it's not even just about treating illness either. Biofield therapies can help us grow personally and spiritually too.
I see.
By working directly with the biofield, we can tap into deeper levels of awareness, let go of beliefs that are holding us back, and connect with our true potential. It's like we're clearing out the energetic junk that's been in our way this whole time, preventing us from living our best lives.
It's amazing to think that this invisible energy field, this biofield, could hold the key to so much healing, growth, and positive change.
It reminds us that we're more than just physical beings. We're beings of energy and consciousness, and this biofield is the link between the two.
This has been a lot to take in, but in a good way. It's like a whole new world of possibilities has opened up to me. What advice would you give to someone listening who's totally intrigued by this and wants to explore the biofield more?
The best way to start is simple. Pay attention to your own energy. Notice how you feel when you're around different people or in different places. Try out some different energy healing stuff like Reiki or acupuncture. But most importantly, be open to the idea that there's way more to reality than just what we can see and touch.
That's great advice. It's about trusting our gut, listening to our bodies, and being willing to step outside our comfort zones to see what's out there.
Exactly. The biofield is this huge, mysterious thing, but it's a journey worth taking.
A journey that might just lead us to understand ourselves better, how we're connected to each other, and maybe even the very fabric of reality. It's like we're explorers, venturing into this unknown territory of what it means to be human. But like with any new frontier, there are going to be challenges. What are some of the potential downsides or risks to be aware of when we're exploring the biofield?
You're right to bring that up. It's like any powerful thing, the biofield needs to be treated carefully. You got to approach it with respect, good judgment, and a strong sense of ethics.
Can you give us some specific examples of what could go wrong?
Well, one thing is the possibility of someone messing with your energy. Just like we talked about healing intentions, being able to affect our biofields in a good way, they can also be affected negatively if someone wants to cause harm.
You mean someone could actually try to use energy to mess with someone else's biofield on purpose?
It's not something to be taken lightly. It's basically the same idea as energy healing, but with bad intentions. That's why it's so important to think about protecting your energy.
Protecting your energy. What does that even mean?
It means being aware of your own energetic boundaries, like having a buffer zone around you to keep negative energy out. There are things you can do, like visualizations, setting intentions, even working with certain objects like crystals that are supposed to have protective qualities.
It's kind of like putting an energy shield around yourself.
Exactly. And it's not just about protecting yourself from other people's energy either. It's also about paying attention to your own thoughts and feelings, because they can impact your biofield too.
Are you saying that if we're negative or fearful, that can actually weaken our biofields and make us easier to influence?
Absolutely. Cultivating positive emotions, though, things like love, gratitude, and compassion, those can have the opposite effect. They make your biofield stronger and more resilient.
It's like that saying, what you put out is what you get back, but with energy instead.
Exactly. Our biofields reflect what's going on inside us. The more we focus on creating inner peace and balance, the stronger and healthier our energy field will be.
That makes a lot of sense. So really, exploring the biofield isn't just about these cool abilities. It's about taking responsibility for ourselves and being ethical.
I completely agree. It's about understanding how much power this energy field has and treating it with respect, both for ourselves and the people around us.
This has been an incredible deep dive. We've gone deep into what the biofield is, how it's connected to our physical and emotional health, how it can be used for healing, and even things like telepathy, and how important it is to protect our energy. It's a lot to process, but I feel like we've just scratched the surface.
We definitely have. There is so much more to learn. The biofield is constantly evolving and changing, and new discoveries are being made all the time.
It really challenges everything we think we know, doesn't it? It opens up all these amazing possibilities for what humans are capable of and makes you look at the universe and our place in it with a sense of wonder.
And at the end of the day, it reminds us that we are all connected to each other.
Beautifully put. And that's a wrap on this exploration of the human biofield. We hope you found it as mind-blowing as we did. I'm Nathan Sinclair.
And I'm Emma Greenwood. Be sure to join us next Thursday for another deep dive into the mysteries of our world. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out.